What is happening there, JGameZood here, and let's talk about VTubers, something that I have very little to no interest in, but something that I do have a lot of interest in is companies ruining their image, or they are kind of really hurting the space that they kind of occupy almost. I'm sure that makes a lot of sense to people who like gaming content and of course realize, oh, the gaming space is completely covered and littered with companies that are now letting people go, that are, thinking about increasing the prices of games as we speak, and things like that. So let's talk about Nijisanji rather. And this specific thread is actually about how Legal Mindset went through the whole Nijisanji contract template and kind of went through and talked about it, and there is some horrible stuff in here that I feel like needs discussing. A lot of people who talk about VTuber news have absolutely already talked about this by the time this is uploaded, but I figured, you know what, I'll toss my hat in and kind of talk about it, because it kind of like leads into stuff that I talk about on my own channel about with like the gaming landscape having a lot of people lose their jobs, Rooster Teeth shutting down more recently. So let's talk about this for a second. So pretty much this is kind of just like a summarization of like what happened during Legal Mindset stream. Legal Mindset being a lawyer, YouTuber, individual who specializes in corporate law and things like that. So contracts are certainly something that would be up his alley in that sense. So it does kind of make sense that he would tackle something like this. So, and he did say that he's a lawyer, not a Japanese lawyer, so not much of this there's not a lot that can be guaranteed, but we can sort of infer, I guess, a lot of information. But looking over from all of this, so Nijisanji takes a 50% cut of all of the money that's made. Now that is after any money that is taken by the platform themselves. So for example, if YouTube were to pay the stream, like say someone super chatted the VTuber $100, the VTuber would only get 35, and you might be like, okay, where's the math on that one? So the idea is YouTube pays so $100 to go to the VTuber, 30% will go to YouTube, so that's $30 from the 100, leaving the VTuber with 70, and then Niji will take 50% of that, so $35 goes to Nijisanji and 35 goes to the VTuber. That's kind of ideally how it works. So 50% post any sort of other cuts being taken by any other like the hosting platform effectively. Nijisanji may compel the liver to purchase anything the company considers to be work, but will only reimburse up to $1,333. So say for example, if Nijisanji were to make the liver purchase a laptop, and the laptop costs let's say $2,000, Nijisanji would only cover $1,333, so the liver would have to cover the remaining $667, for example, which is actually kind of crappy, given that a lot of the equipment is actually quite expensive, really. Talents must provide certain information to Nijisanji. Might be a mistranslation of personal information. However, in the contract as written, in this theory requires a liver to turn over any information Nijisanji wants. This goes against the idea of so this is me talking now. VTubers like to be VTubers because they can remain anonymous. This is the absolute antithesis of being anonymous. If you cannot be anonymous, then you're giving your information to a company, and that company could either get hacked or release your information by accident or on purpose. There are options of either of those happening. In fact, there are cases in the past in which both of these cases have come to light in relation to a company like Nijisanji especially. So that was kind of just like a neat thing to kind of look at, or see that that's like interestingly worded. Livers are under an obligation to cooperate, including attending meetings, etc, etc. So I mean, yeah, to cooperate, including attending meetings, yeah, sure. I mean, I feel like that seems kind of normal, maybe. I mean, if I had, like, when I go to work, I've got to go to meetings as well, so I guess so. Livers must procure materials under their own cost and responsibility. They may not be used for any other purpose, be altered, reproduced, or transferred, but still belong to Nijisanji. If a liver somehow does gain copyright over anything, it's immediately transferred to Nijisanji. So if livers have to procure things that are their responsibility and cost them, Nijisanji owns it. If they get copyright while working for Nijisanji, Nijisanji now owns the copyright. That is rubbish in every sense of the word, and is shocking that if not, this is just to tell people, look, when you get a job, read the contract. For the love of God, read the contract, because that is the law that you must obey in order to keep your job. And if something seems completely off, then you say no and move on. You have a choice to say yes or no. Simple as that. Jesus Christ, what the heck is this? I didn't even read the stream, and I haven't read this beforehand, but yikes. Ooh, okay. Once the contract ends, livers need to return everything that they used in their work. Seems to be written to include any of their personal property they used, if any. Ooh. Ouch. That's, well, free laptop for the CEO, I think. Maybe. I don't know. Livers are contractually prohibited from streaming a long list of stuff, including images that induce bullying, harassment of a third party, images that may cause trouble or comfort to a third party, or anything Nijisanji considers inappropriate. So the fact of the matter is that, like, say for example, you have a picture of a puppy, and Nijisanji considers that puppy to be inappropriate because it is a puppy. It has adorable puppy dog eyes. Therefore offensive, inappropriate. Get that out of here. So that would then prohibit other livers from being able to stream images of puppies. Now, you might think, well, that's a bit of a stretch saying that, puppies are offensive. But the thing is that even though that sounds kind of ridiculous, I'm giving you the idea that this is effectively what's being talked about here, where if the most ridiculous thing seems offensive, then like something that clearly is not offensive, like a plant, a pot plant, then that would be something that livers can't stream because Nijisanji considers it inappropriate. So that last part is so vague that anything that's considered inappropriate, like, I don't know, the picture of a Wii, because I'm looking at my Wii at the moment. Actually, a bad example. A picture of like a PS3, then that would be considered inappropriate. If anyone at Nijisanji considered that inappropriate, that would be a bad thing for the liver, effectively. God, that's so vague. Well, why is this so vague? Alright, if a liver is suspended or terminated, Niji may terminate livers at any time without reason. They owe a penalty equal to 50% of the income for this contract for an unspecified period. If they specify breach, specifically breach the list of things they can't stream, the penalty is equal to the amount of money they made while in breach, or the amount they made in the prior 12 months, whichever is higher. See, normally with contracts, it's whichever is lower that's usually the option provided. I've never seen whichever is higher, and I'm sure there are people who have worked in places where that has been the case. Jesus, okay, that's insane. Everything about this point is wrong. So the fact that, like, the liver has to pay for half their income during the period in which they were suspended or terminated, and this only applies to suspension and termination, which is no wonder why they keep terminating people. I feel like Nijisanji makes more money the more livers they terminate, and that's why we have a long list of terminations. Nijisanji effectively gains from people being terminated. Wow. Okay. Being suspended and or terminated. Nijisanji. Okay, so next point is Nijisanji does not guarantee that livers make any money at all. Niji doesn't guarantee anything at all, really. Notably, it's the liver's responsibility to know if any given thing is legal, to deal with copyright issues, or to deal with disputes with vendors or art. Wait, hold on, what? Notably, it's the liver's responsibility to deal with anything legal related, copyright strikes, disputes with vendors or artists. That is all the liver's responsibility. Okay. Niji specifically limits any amount they will pay to the liver for breach of contract on their side to the money the talent made in the previous 6 months. So Niji can take up to 50% of the last 12 months of the liver's income, but if Niji were to pay the liver, it would only be up to, at most, 6 months should Niji have screwed up. Huh. Even in cases where Nijisanji has been intentionally or grossly negligent. However, if a liver causes any amount of monetary damage to Nijisanji, they need to repay that in full. So, liver owes so much more to Nijisanji than Nijisanji can ever owe to a liver. Interesting. If disputes, including legal disputes, arise between livers, Nijisanji must be notified, but otherwise does not do anything. They do not mediate or mitigate. If a liver is terminated, they must turn over any deliverables which work has started, MVs, etc. Nijisanji may amend the contract, and the liver is assumed to have agreed that they did not object in 14 days, or... Wait, hold on. Nijisanji may amend the contract, and the liver is assumed to have agreed if they don't object in 2 weeks, or if they pretty much do anything in their VTuber persona. Note that Nijisanji dictates the communication channels and may comply a liver to do things like tweet, so they may contractually compel a liver to tweet something random, some random thing, thus agreeing to contract amendments that they didn't even know existed. So changing your contract is one thing, but changing it in a way whereby the person doesn't even know what was changed unless they knew within a 2-week period to say, no, this is not cool. That's the only time. God, this is rough, but okay. Jesus. And also, most of the contract is specified as surviving the end of the contract, though not the provision that provides the rest surviving. So who knows if that's actually effective? Yeah, that at this point, who knows? Man, this is actually really shocking stuff. Yeah, so I guess looking at like the edits, not much to mention besides just sort of like linking back to here. But consider the amount of the payment structure to additional agreements. More specifically, there are individual agreements between each liver and the company, so there's even more. There is a non-zero chance that this is the case, but they try to lowball each individual liver. If everyone got the same proportions, it would not be possible for them to potentially get people to accept lower rates. Though it is worth noting that this is pure speculation. As speculation goes, that's still an insane thing to say. Jesus Christ. Okay, so yeah, so this company definitely deserves to fall. They definitely deserve to just kind of, fall over and disappear. I did not realize just how bad things were. Because, like, sure, we can make the joke about modern day slavery and everything, yada yada yada, but it doesn't change the fact that, like, everything that the liver does, everything that the liver uses, no matter in what capacity, whether or not it's their personal property, their personal money, or anything and everything else in between, it is all owed to Nijisanji. It is all owned by Nijisanji as of the point in which the contract is signed. If the liver owes money to Nijisanji, it will always be 100% more than what Nijisanji could ever owe to the liver, even at their most negligent and even at their most negligent, effectively. Holy crap, this is not, man. you gotta wonder if there's companies like Nijisanji out there that are like this. Imagine how many more there are. This is so it's more idea of like the number of cockroaches in the world. You see one cockroach, but you don't know how many more are hiding nearby. If you see one, imagine how many more there might be. Just think about that for a second. God, that is incredibly awful. It sucks, no doubt about it. I am no like lawyer myself. Definitely seek legal advice if you're wanting to know more about contracts and things like that. But this is just these summarization from a lawyer's perspective of like a contract on how talents are treated in Nijisanji, and it is bad. There is no way in hell you can look at this and say, yeah, this is a company that I would want to work for. Absolutely not. Are you kidding me? So yeah, I just went through a quick summary of the Nijisanji, pretty much the contract stream that was happening with Legal Mindset. I'm gonna link this Reddit post in the comments below. Definitely check it out. Like, holy crap! Like, really, that's shocking stuff. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about this contract in the comments below if I misunderstood anything. Also, feel free to pop that in as well. But yeah, it is going to be very interesting to see where kind of all of this goes, and I do hope that this company does go under, because god damn, they don't know how to manage it all. And who knows how anything else works if the contract template is like this, which means this applies to everyone. And on top of that, there's going to be more stipulations if this is just a template. In saying that, something completely different that I would usually never really talk about, but you know, worth hopping into the bandwagon and seeing what's going on the other side of the world sometimes. But with all of that said and done, please like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel. I want my videos to go out to more people, and I'm aiming for 200 subs by the end of the year. And with all of that said and done, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.